Chris Godinez, licensed professional counselor, also the host of We Need to Talk on every Sunday here at noon, and then I post it up to Facebook. This video is for educational and informational purposes only. The views and opinions stated herein are mine alone. They do not represent the ACA, the APA, or any other therapist for that matter. Boom, shakalaka done. I'd like to thank my sponsor, BetterHelp, BetterHelp, BetterHelp.com/Chris Godinez. They're an online therapy company. They are international. They're all over the world. So if you need to get into a therapist, go to BetterHelp.com/Chris Godinez, and they will set you up with a licensed professional therapist, PhD level or master's level, which is great. So there that is. And if you're in the States and you don't like your therapist, they will find one that is licensed in your state. So that is awesome. Okay. So announcements. Let me think. I will be in Salt Lake City on August 26th. There are still tickets available. Go to chrisgodinez.com. So there are still tickets available for that. The next one I have planned is December 2nd. That will be in Florida. So those are both on chrisgodinez.com. So go do that. Hey guys. So that is that announcement. Is there anything else? I'm trying to think. Cannot think of anything. Okay. So current events. So obviously we're going to talk about Maui. So Lahaina burnt down to the ground. If you want to help them, and they are going to need help. And the concern is that if the families aren't able to rebuild, that developers will come in and buy up the land and put more condos up and make it unaffordable. So if you want to help, you go to how to help donate in response to the deadly wildfire. This is on the AP. So Council for Native Hawaiian Advancement pledged to match donations up to 100,000. It's now been increased to 1 million. So the Council for Native Hawaiian Advancement, that's one place. The crowdfunding site GoFundMe has vetted fundraisers for individuals and families who lost property or were injured in the fires. That means that the site has taken steps to verify the identity of the organizer and collected those campaigns on a hub on its website. GoFundMe will take additional verification steps before releasing the funds to the organizer, as well as deduct a transaction fee. So those are two ways you can help. The Hawaiian Community Foundation, that's another one. It's Maui Strong Fund. That's what you can do. So this is on the AP. Johnny, if you could post this so people can find it, that would be great. So Lahaina is very near and dear to my heart. Obviously, I love Hawaii. I love it. And I learned how to surf actually in Lahaina. And I just want to let everyone know that the magnitude of this is mind-boggling. It's like the town is gone. It's gone. And the historical sites are gone. And the museum stuff is gone. And all these people have lost their homes, in some cases their lives. They have no jobs now. I mean, think about it. The economy of the islands is service-based. It's not like they have exports really anymore. They don't do sugarcane anymore. Everything's beet sugar now. It's all service-based. And so all of the surf instructors, I'm sure my surf instructor is homeless and probably out of a job. You know, the 808 Grinds that has the best breakfast ever on the face of the planet, or at least it used to. That's gone. The servers are out of a job. The cooks are out of a job. The owners lost their building. Old Lahaina luau, all the dancers, all the servers, all the entertainers, all of the people that made it such a wonderful place. Please, please, please donate. These people lost literally everything. I can't even imagine. And here's the thing that really makes me angry beyond belief, is that none of the 80 sirens were activated to warn people ahead of time so that they could get out. The county, the state relied on cell phones, which were down, and television, which the power was out. So nobody got an alert to get the hell out. And They learned nothing from the Paradise Fire, clearly. Um, they they need to learn from this fire. There are over 90 deaths now. And that's unacceptable. I'm sorry. It is unacceptable in this day and age that you have a government agency that doesn't have the good sense God gave lettuce, let's be clear, that was relying on cell phones and television to put out an alert when they had 80 sirens that they could have activated to let people know stuff was coming down, get out. So here's another way to donate. If you know somebody personally, contact them, ask them what they need. That's kind of what I've been doing through my friend Katie King. Katie lived in Maui, and so she's got people that she's contacting, and she's trying to funnel funds to the people that need it. So find a way to donate, find a way to help. The concern for me, and honestly for a lot of Native Hawaiians, is that if these people do not rebuild their houses, and there were people that were there for generations, like 40, 50 years, generations, if they don't rebuild, that they'll end up out of desperation selling to a corporation, and that corporation is just going to put in more golf courses and more condos. And again, the Native Hawaiian population is going to get pushed out. And honestly, it's so insanely, ridiculously expensive in Hawaii that the Native population, there's a larger Native population in Las Vegas than there is in some parts of the islands. So I just, please help. Please donate. Go to that AP thing and find a place to donate. Or if you know somebody that's from Maui or from the islands and they know somebody that needs help, donate that way. So, and be careful when you donate, because again, the GoFundMe stuff, I'm a little iffy on, because there's my friend Heather Sinclair just posted this thing today about how people are trying to take advantage of, people's wanting to help. And so they're putting up, I'm out of a house and blah, 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 blah. And when it turns out they live in Jersey. So be careful. Be careful. That's just what I want to say. It sounds intentional. Yeah, that's kind of crossed my mind as well. And it's heartbreaking, because Lahaina was the capital of the islands at one point, and it had Victorian architecture. It had, mid 1800s houses. It had mid 1800s a hotel that was used by the whalers. Not that I like whalers, but it's historical. And of course, then you had the banyan tree that was right in the center of town. And across from the banyan tree was the best burger joint. Oh my God, it was good burgers. And that was a great place, burgers and shakes, to go after you were surfing, because that you stock up on the calories. So anyway, it breaks my heart, and it makes me hurt for the people who live there, because they do have this is why I love Hawaii. They have this wonderful sense of aloha. They have this wonderful sense of inclusion, and they're kind, good people, and they did not deserve this. So please, if you can donate, please help them. I don't know how it's going to get redeveloped. I don't know how they're going to rebuild. I don't know what they're going to do, but I don't want to see it going to the developers and turning into more golf courses and condos that Native Americans, Native Hawaiians cannot afford. So anyway, there that is. It does sound intentional. It does. Why wouldn't you turn on the sirens? That doesn't make sense. It does not make sense. I'd really love to see an investigation done on that. In other current event news, the government of Florida has decided that they are not going to allow AP classes in psychology with the excuse that, they teach sexuality. And therefore, they're not going to allow high school students that are interested in becoming counselors, therapists, psychiatrists, psychologists to take AP psychology classes because they cover human sexuality. So, really, is that your real reason, or is it that you don't want people to know what a narcissist is? So it just, things like that really annoy the crap out of me. It's like, it's a very thinly veiled attempt to not educate, honestly, on anything. They're saying it's about sexuality. I can guarantee you it's about something else. It's kind of like, look over here, don't look at what we're really doing. So anyway, there is that. And of course, AP psychology classes are important for kids that are going on that want to become counselors, that want to become therapists, that want to become psychiatrists and psychologists, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera, because sexuality is a huge part of what we do. Not that we are teaching it or necessarily always discussing it, but we have people that come to us that are having sexual dysfunctional issues, that are having questioning, am I gay? Am I straight? Am I bi? Am I pansexual? I don't know. It's like you got to help them, and you can't just sit there and go, oh, we're gonna pretend that doesn't exist. That's the stupidest thing I've ever heard in my life. That sweeping things under the carpet and pretending they don't exist gives you a lumpy carpet that's hard to clean. Deal with it. Help people figure out what they want, what they're doing, who they are. And it doesn't matter what their sexual orientation is, and it's none of the government's business, so don't get me started. Anyway, there is that. So again, two idiocy in government things happening. The Lahaina one with them not using the sirens, and then the AP courses in psychology being not taught when they should. So anyway, there that is. All right. Let's dive into today's topic. Okay. We are talking about emotions. Let's talk about emotions. So, something that has been coming up for many of my clients, these few weeks, is the fear of their own emotions. And I want to talk about that. So, when we have been raised by an abuser, whether that's a malignant borderline or a malignant narcissist or whatever, or we're even in just a romantic relationship with one of those types, we quickly learn that no emotion is safe. No emotion is safe. Even happiness is not necessarily safe around an abuser, because the abuser does not know how to cope with emotions, right? And they don't feel them the way you and I feel them. They don't understand them. Do you see where I'm going with that? They don't get them. They don't understand them. It's okay for them to feel whatever they're feeling. Like, it's okay for them to feel sorry for themselves. It's okay for them to be sad because they didn't get their way. It's okay for them to be enraged, anger, but God forbid somebody else has an actual emotion. What they'll do is they'll shut it down. They'll make you wrong. We've all been there. We've all done that. It's like you start crying. One of my dad's favorite things to say to me was, oh, well, you're a Marine. Marines don't cry. It took me until I was like 14 to figure out I hadn't freaking enlisted. You see where I'm going with that? So I didn't cry for a good majority of my young life there because it wasn't safe. It wasn't okay. I got made wrong. I got hit. I got told, you're a Marine. Marines don't cry. And of course, you want to, when you're trying to appease and you're a people pleaser, you want to make your dad happy, you just stop crying. And that's not healthy. So let's talk about tears for a moment. Tears are cathartic, guys. I know it doesn't feel good to cry. It doesn't. And when I cry now, I ugly cry. I mean, it's just game on, mascara down, snotty nose, the whole thing. It's a good thing to do. Crying is cathartic. It's a release, okay? Every single mammal on the face of the planet tears up when they feel pain. We tear up, and I'm presuming they do too, when they feel emotional pain. And anybody who says animals don't have emotions can go suck a rock because they're full of it. So when we feel pain, when mammals feel pain, we tear up. So tearing up is a normal response to pain. Okay. And believe me, when you're raised by a narcissist or a borderline or an abuser of any kind, you're in a lot of pain a lot of the time because they're just miserable people to be around. So crying is cathartic. Crying is okay. Give yourself permission. Now, a lot of us did not feel safe enough to allow ourselves to cry because, like I said, for me, I would get hit, I'd get yelled at, I'd be told I was a Marine, blah, blah, blah. So I quickly learned to shut down. Okay. And I think a lot of us did when we were around that environment where emotions were not okay. On the flip side, let me turn off that noise. There we go. On the flip side, we got made wrong if we were happy. I know. It's like you cannot win for losing with these people. So they'll make you wrong for being happy. So if you're happy, it's like, well, what are you smiling about? what are you so happy about? Or they'll do something to make you not happy. So because they can't feel the happiness themselves, it makes them enraged because they can't feel it. And so they take it away from you. So happiness wasn't safe either because they make us wrong, yell at us, take it away, whatever. Anger, that's another one. So healthy, normal anger. Anger is part of the fight, flight, freeze, or fawn response. Let's be clear. So when a threat comes in and it hits our amygdala, right? The hippocampus, hypothalamus activate and go, oh my gosh, we need cortisol. Our body floods with cortisol. We start tensing up. We're getting ready to fight, run away, flight, freeze like a bunny rabbit and watch the predator go on by, or fawn, give into the predator, appease the predator so that we don't get killed. So fight, flight, freeze, or fawn. So once we're at that point where we're ready to, have a panic attack, we either have a panic attack or we turn into the Incredible Hulk because it's part of our fight, flight, freeze, or fawn. So anger was always used against us. I'll give you something to be angry about. That was my dad's favorite thing. Don't you dare be angry at me, even though they had just done something that was anger worthy, right? So again, it's that gaslighting. It's like, wait, I'm feeling this emotion, but you're telling me I can't have it. That's gaslighting. That's gaslighting. Instead of validating, I know you're angry. Let's talk, whatever. Of course, they would never do that. So anger is okay for the abuser to express. It was never okay for the target of abuse to express, ever. So something that I got being a female was, oh, women are not allowed to be angry. You can't be angry. You're a girl. I'm sorry. Have we met? I'm angry about a lot of stuff, honestly. So, yeah. So, and it's what anger is. All of our emotions are, all of them, is that they are clues as to what is going on, which is why the abuser wants to shut them down so that we are not cognizant, that we are not aware of what we are feeling or what we need. So anger lets us know where we have been hurt. Anger is important. It lets us know where there is hurt. Okay. Sadness is important. Happiness is important. It lets us know what we're feeling, what we want, what we like, what we don't like, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. So that's why abusers shut us down around our emotions, is because they don't want us to know what we need or what we want or what we're feeling or whatever. They want to control all of that. I know, it's diabolical. It really, truly is. So, all right. So the emotions were made wrong by the abuser. Happiness is not okay. Anger was not okay. Sadness is not okay. Any emotion is not okay unless they want it to reflect well on them. So out in public, we all had to be, everything's fine, everything's great. And it was a counselor's fine, effed up, insecure, neurotic, and emotional. It was not fine. But he wanted to have everybody have this vision of him having the perfect family and he was the perfect father and this, that, and the other thing. So out in public, yeah, crying is a display of weakness. That's the other thing. Weak people cry. No, hurt people cry. That's sad people cry. And crying is cathartic. It helps. Sometimes, honest to God, for me, I will cry now in public and in front of people, but for a long time, I had to go into a closet, shut the door, grab a pillow, and just, ugly cry there because it wasn't safe or I didn't feel safe. It took a long time working through therapy to get that safety going so that I felt comfortable and okay having my emotions. While I was working on myself, something that John said when we first started dating, he's like, wow, you've got a lot of anger. And I'm like, yeah, I do. I do have a lot of anger. And that was the one that I predominantly expressed because anger kept people at arm's length. And anger was, how do I explain that? It's kind of like it was a diversion from the sadness that was really driving the anger. Does that make sense? Anger is not a pure emotion. All of the other emotions are pure. Love is love, happy is happy, sad is sad, right? And they're kind of guiding us, showing us what we need and what we want. Anger is the bodyguard of the softer emotions. So hurt, sadness, fear, that thing. And so we get angry and use the anger as opposed to accessing what's really going on, which would be hurt, sadness, or fear. Okay. When people get fearful, they get angry. Show me somebody who is raging, and I'll show you somebody who's terrified. Basically, I know that now. I didn't know that then. I wish I did. So the fear is what drives the anger for a lot of people. Sometimes it's the sadness that drives the anger, depending on what they're doing and how they're using it. So emotions are okay. Emotions are there to guide us. They're there to show us what we need to work on, what we're feeling. And if it's anger, you always want to ask yourself, am I really angry? Am I having just a pure anger moment, or is it something driving it? Is it fear? Is it sadness? What else is going on underneath here? So that is a really important thing to think about. What are you really feeling? What's driving the emotion? What is causing it? Even when you're crying, it's like, what is the sad about? Really, it's like, because what we tend to do, especially if we were told emotions are not okay, is that we either divert or distract so that we're not dealing with it, or we deny, or we minimize, or it's not that bad, it's not that big of a deal, other people have it worse. Stop. Your emotions are 100% valid. 100%. 100%. If you're feeling sad, you're feeling sad. If you're angry, you're feeling angry. What's underneath the anger? What's driving the anger? Find that out. What is driving the sadness? Find that out. What is driving the happy? What makes you happy? That's a great thing to know, because then you can do more of that. Does that make sense? They don't want us to know. They do not want us to know. So there were a couple of really good articles I pulled up on Psychology Today. So 4 ways we avoid emotion. We often escape our feelings without recognizing what we are doing, but there's a high cost, because again, you're shoving stuff down. Here's how I like to explain it to my clients. If you shove your emotions down, you become emotionally constipated, and it's got to go somewhere, and it's going to go fleeing in ways that you don't want. So anger comes out against somebody that you're really not angry with. Why? Well, as little kids, we have a tendency to take things out on a safe target because we don't want the abuser to scream at us. So we'll get mad at the sane parent instead because that's safer. See where I'm going? You want to be able to own your emotions. You want to be able to express your emotions. You want to be able to know who you're really angry with, or what's really going on, or what's the sadness about, or what's the happy, that whole thing. All right. So, all right. The high cost of avoiding emotion. It causes suffering, honestly, depression, increased anxiety, and more problems with interpersonal relationships. We have a fear of being vulnerable with good cause. So basically, I want to validate there's a reason we avoid emotions. It's because it wasn't safe. It was not safe. Let's just be clear. It was not safe. Vulnerability is connected with crying. Okay. Because we are very vulnerable in that moment. When you're the Incredible Hulk and you're raging, people are going to stay the hell away from you if they're smart and know what's good for them. You know what I'm saying? But crying feels, and it is, vulnerable. And that's usually when the abuser would come in and do their worst, make fun of, put down, oh, you're a little baby, men don't cry, that whole bullshit. That's why men in the past were dropping dead of heart attacks at age 30, because they were constantly told, boys don't cry. Well, yeah, boys do cry. Everybody cries. Every mammal cries. Deal with it. So you don't want to avoid your emotions. So 4 ways we avoid our emotions: minimizing or distracting. That is when we suddenly become overwhelmed with an urge to get busy, shop, eat, drink, or scroll. We direct our attention away from what we are feeling, often automatically. So this is where mindfulness comes in. You must be mindful. You must be mindful. We may, consciously or not, brush off vulnerable inner experiences as being, oh, it's no big deal. It's fine. It's okay. I can deal with it. It's okay. We ignore or neglect our body's signs of stress and may push through our limits until we risk exhaustion, burnout, depression, or physical illness. You do not want to ignore your emotions. The body keeps score. Bessel van der Kolk, thank you very much. And it's going to come out sideways. It's emotional constipation is going to explode in emotional diarrhea that you don't want. Trust me on that one. So you want to deal with it as it comes up. I know, gross, but it's accurate. So, okay. Control and worry. This is when, very often, without meaning to, we reject ourselves in the reality of our vulnerability and we look for certainty and control in a world that offers neither. I hate not feeling safe. I do. John and I just had a conversation. Oh, I'm going to sneeze. Oh my God. Allergies. Woo! Hold on. Okay, I'm good. I hate it when I don't have an answer necessarily, or I don't know the correct course. It's uncomfortable, and it's uncomfortable because if I couldn't predict what my father was going to do, that would mean I would end up getting hurt. So that's where our need for control comes from. And so it's kind of a matter of, again, accessing that inner child, having a little chat, being like, look, little one, you're okay. You're safe. Bob is dead, or whoever the abuser is gone. They're not going to punish you. They're not going to hurt you. They're not going to, whatever. It's okay to feel uncertain. And it's a yicky, icky feeling, but you know what? It's okay. You just allow. And then journal. It helps to journal it out. And that was something that John and I talked about this morning is, talking about the fear of being abused again, not by him, but, in situations that were uncontrollable. Right. So, and I have to tell you, the whole Maui thing feels like abuse. It was absolute incompetence on the part of the government officials. And I think that's why I'm so angry, because it feels like abuse to the people. It does. That's just my perception of it. But okay. We ask, what if? We try to imagine all the ways that things can go wrong and how we can fix them. This is ultimately exhausting as the world has more variables than our minds can ever fully account for. What if this is what, okay, if this happens, I'm going to do that. If that happens, I'm going to do this. And instead of dealing with what's really driving that, you're off on a tangent about how to fix all these things that have not and probably will not happen. So the what if is a distraction. It's a distraction, just like getting busy. Oh, I'm going to go clean the entire house. Oh, I'm going to go do this. Oh, I'm going to go do that. Instead of sitting with your emotions and really feeling the feels. That's what needs to happen. Where did this come from? Why am I feeling it? How am I feeling it? Here's another thing. Where in your body are you feeling it? So my sister used to call headaches headaches, and she wasn't wrong. So when she got really, really mad at my dad, she would get a headache, and she started calling it a headache. She's like, I hate him so much. And I'm like, yeah, I hear you. Join the club. So it's interesting how our bodies manifest emotions. They do. If we can't express them, if we can't be safe enough to say this person is crazy and they're abusive and how dare they, our bodies are going to let us know in some way, shape, or form. Ulcers, headaches, autoimmune issues, muscle issues, joint issues, it's going to happen. So where in your body do you feel things? So start noticing that. Start journaling it out. Start comforting that part of your body and acknowledge it and validate it. It's okay, body. I hear you. I see you. It's okay to have this particular emotion. It's okay. You don't need to come unglued. It's okay. We don't need to have a headache. It's okay. Do you see where I'm going? Is like, we can acknowledge that we're really angry at this person for being so abusive. So start working on things like that. Okay, hold on. Self-attack. If self-criticism is a deep-seated habit, you may have learned in childhood that your vulnerability leads to abandonment after being left alone in moments of strong emotions. So abusers don't know how to deal with their emotions because they don't process them the way that we do. And when a child is having a big emotion, they punish them. So they'll spank them for crying, which only leads to more crying, which then leads to more abuse. Do you see where I'm going with that? They'll scream at them for being angry at them. They'll, make fun of them, put them down, that kind of thing. So it's really, then that becomes a self-fulfilling, well, I'm just going to put myself down because they're not here anymore, but I'm going to do it so nobody else does. We do that. That's kind of the self-sabotage. You tell yourself that if you tried harder or were smarter or were a better person or more lovable or attractive or stronger or not as gullible or more patient, or if you acted sooner, then things would be better, that your parent would love you. These lies create a harsh inner environment that can lead to flattened emotional experience, low self-worth, and potentially depression. Absolutely. The emotional masquerade. Okay. If it looks like sadness and it walks like sadness and it talks like sadness, is it sadness? No. Sometimes other feelings are substituted to remove you from the pain. We were talking about that. If anger was not okay in your childhood environment, you may get weepy and look sad when you get into an argument with your partner. If sadness was regarded as weak, you may appear very angry. That's what I did. And push people away when you feel sad. You may feel guilty when you feel angry towards someone you care about. These fake feelings can keep you stuck if you do not access the emotions underneath them. So this is all very true. We talked about a lot of this. Value the feelings of your feelings. Get in touch with your emotions. It can enhance your relationships and deliver profound mental health benefits. Absolutely. Boy, I'll tell you something. When I acknowledge what I'm feeling, I can then relax, or I can then go, okay, I'm going to work on that. You know what I'm saying? So you want to feel the feelings. They are guides. All feelings are good. All emotions are good. It's what we do with them that make them helpful or hurtful. Okay. So if you find yourself taking your anger out on a safer target, you got to stop yourself. You got to be able to go, whoa, that's not who I'm mad at. What is that about? Who am I really angry with? Do you see where I'm going with that? Or if you're crying when you're angry, then you want to start being able to access that anger. It's okay to get mad. It is. It's okay to be angry. It is. It's just not okay to take that anger out on an innocent person. Does that make sense? So start looking at your emotions, start feeling the feelings, start writing it down. A lot of people tell me they have a hard time even identifying their emotions. So something that can help with that is getting an emotion chart off of the internet, and you check in with yourself throughout the day. What am I feeling? Where in my body am I feeling it? When did I start feeling this? What precipitated the emotion? What event happened that the emotion is talking about? Does that make sense? So you want to start doing that. You are not meant to detach, go numb, avoid, or distract from the pain and beauty of life. You are meant to care deeply without clinging, controlling, or being overwhelmed. And a lot of us get overwhelmed. Your vulnerability is your strength. I know it does not feel like that when you're coming out of one of these relationships, but it truly is. And it will grow. Your emotions are the energy that will transform you and propel you to your richest, most authentic life. So this was on Psychology Today. This was 4 Ways We Avoid Emotions. This is by Sandra Parker, PhD. Excellent article. Highly recommended. Okay, one more article, and then we're going to dive into questions. All right, so how do we feel our feelings? So this is feel emotions, don't fight them or feed them. How to feel what's there without running away or getting stuck. And this is by Matthew Boone, Jennifer Gregg, and Lisa Coyne. So, okay, tiny practices. Observe and describe. When you are feeling something that catches your attention, a flicker of sadness, a spark of joy, slow down and take deep breaths, at least 3 of them. Next, in your mind's eye, scan your body from head to toe. Observe all the places where the physical sensations that are part of your emotion manifest in your body. Emotions are made up of thoughts, physical sensations, and urges. Focus away from the thoughts and towards the sensations and urges. So for me, something that triggers me horrifically is feeling trapped, either physically or emotionally. And if I can't get out, if I can't find a way out, if I can't find a path, I will start having a panic attack. You betcha. And that goes right back to my childhood. It goes back to that inner child that was trapped with a crazy father that was 5 and had hands the size of frying pans that liked to take it out on me. So I know where this comes from. It's a matter of breathing, comforting that inner child, staying in the present moment, and just acknowledging and validating. You betcha. That's what this is all about. Okay. Observe what the sensations are like without adding any extra words. Observe where they begin and end. Notice if they seem heavy or light. Observe them without judgment or without trying to fix anything. So for the fear for me starts in the solar plexus. Always. It's like that stomach clenching kind of thing. The next obstacle is to describe. Label what you experience with just a few simple words. It may be something like, I'm noticing heaviness in my chest, or sinking feeling in my stomach, or clenching feeling. My cheeks feel hot and I want to run away. Hello. Try not to add story. If you find yourself saying something like, I'm noticing heaviness in my chest because my boss is a jerk and he doesn't pay attention to me, back off a bit. That may be true, but you want to stick to the simple stuff and then go back later to find out what's going on, what precipitated it. Does that make sense? Stick to I'm noticing or I feel. This practice is designed to allow you to feel your emotions without fighting them, pushing them away, or feeding them, inflaming them, which are just different ways of avoiding emotional experiences. This will help you move towards the scary part of life, doing what it takes to live meaningfully, even when it hurts. So those are 2 really good articles. So to wrap it up, this portion of it, we're going to get to the questions. Emotions are important. Emotions let us know what we need to know. It is informing us. It is giving us information. It is intentional on the part of the abuser, I think, to numb us to those informational bits and pieces because they don't want us to know. They don't want us to feel. They don't want us to have insight. They don't want us to grow. They don't want us to leave because they want a punching bag. And if we grow and realize what we're feeling, we'll leave, So emotions are important. All emotions are good. They're there to inform us. It lets us know what's going on. It's also important to feel it in your body because sometimes the body responds first before we're even conscious of what we're feeling. So if you can start going, ooh, fear is in my stomach, or, ooh, I feel muscles tensing up, or whatever, that could kind of be like a warning system to you, or at least an alert system to you of, hey, there's an emotion going on, something I need to pay attention to. So emotions are important. Emotions are there to keep us safe. They are. Now, they got us into trouble with the abuser because the abuser did not want us to be safe and did not want us to have information and did not want us to know what we wanted or what we were feeling or, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. There's a reason why they're shutting us down, basically, is what I'm saying. So if your mantra has been, I don't want to feel, feeling is scary, I want to go numb. Okay, I validate that. I get it. And if you're away from your abuser, feel the feelings. I encourage you. I invite you. Feel the feelings. Start allowing. And one of the ways that we can do that is to do the mirror work. So one of the things that I tell my clients is give yourself permission to feel the feelings. Give yourself, let yourself know it's safe, it's okay, and that you want the emotions. So, hi, good to see you. Have a great day. You know what? It's okay for you to have and to feel any and all emotions. It's okay. You're safe and it's okay. You start there. Okay. And when you're having the emotion, you validate it. I am feeling, put a name to it. What are you feeling? Are you feeling sad? Are you feeling angry? Are you, you're feeling sad, but you're really angry? You're feeling angry, but you're really sad. That's important to start teasing that out and to start having the appropriate response. So when I first started therapy back when I was 16 with Ruth Hornaday in Chico, bless her, I think she's gone now. She said to me, she's like, you smile all the time, even when you're telling me about the abuse. I didn't realize I was doing that. I didn't. I kept a perpetual smile on my face because that was the only thing my dad would allow. So she's like, I want you to start getting in touch with what are you really feeling? Because you're masking it. You're hiding it. You're hiding what you're feeling. And of course, I could do that with her. I could do that with my mom. I could do that with my sister. Could not do it if dad was around because it wasn't safe. So it's really important to notice, what is your face doing? Are you hiding? Are you talking about horrible things and smiling? Are you laughing when you're angry? Are you want to start making the emotions and the physical sensations start matching up, right? So, and that's important because it's being your most authentic self, and it helps the people around you know exactly what's going on. Because if you're constantly putting on this pleasant face and horrible things are happening and you're telling people about horrible things, they're not going to get it, because there's going to be that cognitive, disconnect, because you're smiling but you're talking about horrible things. Does that make sense? So it's really important to start working on integrating all of the emotional things that we were told that was not okay. All emotions are okay. All emotions are okay. All right, I am going to start hitting the questions now. There was one that was mailed into me. Hold on un momento. All right. If you have been in a relationship with a narcissist that involved years of abuse, years of love bombing, followed by a very unexpected and abrupt discard, is it normal to feel that partners after that will suddenly change their mind about you and disappear from your life as well? It seems like it's some sort of trauma response. Yes, absolutely. That is a normal response. So once we have been brutally discarded, our little brains go, okay, what to watch out for? Oh, they're going to leave. Oh, no, I can't believe them. They're going to leave. It's trying to keep you safe, but it's not helping. It's really not helping. So, the one way to start working on that is to, again, mirror work and start working on trusting your gut. So, and write your list of deal breakers. It's like, what is a deal breaker? Well, love bombing is a deal breaker. Believe it or not, love bombing needs to be a deal breaker. If somebody's love bombing, love bombing, love bombing, that's probably a sign that they are an abuser looking, fishing for another abuse victim. So, target of abuse. So yeah, so you start working on your self-esteem and you start listening to your gut, not your head, not your heart. These two guys will lie. They will tell stories. The gut is a simple yes or no answer to a yes or no question. So you want to start working with trusting your gut. How do you do that? You start with things you already know the answer to. So I've given this example a million times. I hate peanut butter. I don't like it. It's the texture, drives me crazy. So if I ask my gut if I like peanut butter, it's this visceral, oh, no. Ugh. No story, just like this almost like wanting to throw up kind of thing. Again, body talking to brain. Hello. So you want to check in with, okay, what does your gut feel like when it gives you an answer to something you already know the answer to? Okay, well, that's something to take into consideration if you take it a step further and go, can I trust this person or not? Ooh, no. Wow. Ooh, okay. And then what does the other opposite sign feel like? So do I like Reese's peanut butter cups? Yes, oddly. So, okay, I like that. Yes. It's like this calm, yes, like no story, just yes. So then, okay, can I trust this person? Yes. Oh, great. Okay, cool. you know so you start practicing with things you already know the answer to, and then you start taking it out to things that you're not sure of. So there is that. Okay, I hope that answered that question. So yes, it is normal to feel like you're going to be abandoned, and it's that fear because you were abandoned. And so then we start going, oh my god, oh my god, oh my god, they're going to abandon me. They're going to change their mind, they're going to do this, they're going to do that. And it's because it was such chaos when we were with that other person, whether it was family member or whether it was a romantic partner or whatever. I know for myself, I questioned a lot, whether John was going to stick around or not, because I was like, okay, so far my experience has been that, I've dated other narcissists, and, like my dad, he's not a narcissist. So John is not a narcissist. So my expectation is that I was going to get abandoned, and I didn't. So it was nice. But I had to work through that. I had to start processing, where is this coming from? What is this about? Okay, it has to do with my dad. Not everybody's my dad. Thank you, Jesus. You know what I'm saying? So you work on things like that. So I hope that answers the question. Yes, it's a normal response, but you got to start working on trusting your gut, trusting yourself, and recognizing that it is a trauma response, and just being able to go, nope, that this person is not that person. I'm not going to freak out. Stop. That kind of thing. Okay, let me get rid of that. Okay, let me go to, why do narcissistic parents want to see their scapegoat child fail in life? My dad and his wife isolated, ostracized, undermined, and tore me down, and did all they could to sabotage my life because it makes them feel powerful. They're sadists. You have to understand, when you are dealing with a parent or two that intentionally target a child and tear them down and sabotage and want them to fail, narcissists don't make sense. They're not logical. Let's be clear. That's why they're crazy. But part of them wants to look good, right? So they'll pick the golden child and look good. Another part of them does not want the child to do well and will sabotage. And, the more threatened they are by the child, the more they sabotage. And they're sadists. They're dark triads. So they're psychopathic, they're narcissistic, and they're control freaks. And it gives them joy to see the kid fail because it makes them feel powerful in some really sick and twisted way. Healthy, normal parents don't do that. They want their children to thrive. They want their children to do well. They want their children to succeed. They want their children to be able to survive and be happy and go live their best life. Narcissistic parents are crazy. There's some payoff that they're getting out of that. And if they're sadists, the payoff is that they enjoy watching somebody suffer. So that's why they do that. Or they're jealous. They're jealous of the kid. They recognize that the kid is possibly going to outdo them. That's another reason why they sabotage and put them down and do that kind of thing. If they see that the child is going to outdo them, they will do that as well. They want children to succeed on their terms. So if they have a golden child, they make it so that there are so many strings attached that the golden child is going to take care of them in their old age or whatever. And then that golden child is allowed to succeed. But it comes at a really high price. So yeah, so there's a couple of things going on. They're jealous, number one, and or they're sadistic, number two. So it's not you, it's them. Get with a good trauma therapist, work on self-esteem. The Self-Esteem Workbook, Glenn Schiraldi. Disease to Please, Harriet Breaker. CPTSD, From Surviving to Thriving, Pete Walker. Those are all really good books to start working on getting rid of the mistaken thoughts, the mistaken beliefs. Because when a parent sabotages, we start incorporating that into, oh my gosh, I'm not good enough. I'm a bad person. I don't deserve it. Da, 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 da. So it's really important to start working on those mistaken thoughts, mistaken beliefs, handing that crap back to the abuser. It's not yours. Don't take it. And going no contact and staying the hell away from them. Absolutely. Okay. How do I begin the path to being able to feel my genuine emotions after squishing them for so long? Okay. So you start with giving yourself permission. Seriously, you start with giving yourself permission. It is really, truly going to be doing mirror work, allowing yourself to feel. It's okay. It's safe. I want you to feel. I want to feel. It's okay to feel. So that's what you're going to start doing. Next, after you've been giving yourself permission for a few weeks, you start playing with the emotions. What does sad feel like? Watch a sad movie. Listen to a sad song. Allow yourself to have an emotional reaction. Do you feel it in your body somewhere? Are you fighting it? Is there a part of you that's like, I'm not going to cry. I'm not going to cry. I'm not going to cry. Is there a part of you doing that? And if so, then I invite you to acknowledge it. I'm terrified of crying. Okay. But I feel like crying. Okay, great. Perfect. Baby steps. Baby steps. Little teeny tiny baby steps. Play with other emotions. Get an emotion chart. Start playing with other emotions and allow yourself to start expressing them. It is going to be a bit of acting in the beginning. Like I'm going to try this emotion on. I'm going to try that emotion on. I'm going to feel how this feels, because we weren't allowed to develop naturally. So when kids kids are very physical. If you tell a kid something, they'll go play really hard and process it and then come back and ask questions. So it's kind of the same thing. Some of us process things physically first, and some of us process things cognitively first. So play with it. Where do you feel sadness in your body? Where do you feel anger in your body? What will help you access that? So for me, accessing sad, I love punching bags. I love to grab a punching bag and some gloves and just go start beating on it. And about 5 minutes into it, I'll be a mess on the floor crying because I finally accessed the sad. Does that make sense? So play with it. Give yourself tools to access things physically. How can you break that shell and get underneath there? Or to access things cognitively. So I invite you to play with different emotions. It's like listen to sad songs, listen to happy songs, listen to angry songs, listen to, watch a movie that evokes an emotion, that kind of thing. So yeah, baby steps. But the biggest thing is giving yourself permission. It's okay. It's okay to have emotions. It's okay to feel them. It's okay to feel them physically. It's okay to feel them emotionally. It's okay. Give yourself permission. Do the mirror work. So that's what I would suggest. Okay. And journal. You want to journal. Journal it out. What are you thinking? What are you feeling? What emotion are you having the most difficult time with and why? Get with a good trauma therapist. Seriously, this will be much easier if you can get with a good trauma therapist that can help you process. Work on the inner child workbook, Catherine Taylor, inner child workbook, Recovering Your Inner Child by Lucia Cappuccioni. Either one of those would be really good. Do that. That's going to help a lot. Okay. Why do I apologize to others when I feel frustrated or upset? I tell people sorry for feeling frustrated about a situation. I know that my feelings are valid. I still need to apologize. Well, when we were raised by abusers, we had to apologize for our existence. Okay. Like seriously, like, oh, I'm sorry I'm angry. Oh, I'm sorry I'm sad. Oh, I'm sorry I'm frustrated. Oh, I'm sorry I'm existing, basically. So it's a codependency thing. And what we're trying to do is avoid the wrath of whoever, because we got told very clearly, either verbally or non-verbally, that emotions were not okay. And so we had to apologize for them so that we didn't get punished. So yeah, we have a tendency to apologize for literally everything, which is not healthy. So something to start working on with that is, as soon as you hear the word I'm sorry popping out of your mouth, you've got to be like, whoa, 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 putting the brakes on that. I have nothing to feel sorry for. My emotions are valid. I have a right to my emotions. I am going to state what I am feeling without an apology. Now, of course, if you say something hurtful and harmful and raging at somebody, yeah, you're going to apologize. But if you're just going, wow, I am feeling so frustrated right now, or wow, I am feeling so sad right now, or wow, I'm feeling so freaking angry right now, you have nothing to apologize. You're simply stating a fact. You are feeling what you are feeling, and it's okay. Make it. There's your clue to kick them to the curb. Seriously, kick them out of your life. You don't need those people controlling you, because it's a form of control to tell people that they cannot have an emotion that they are clearly having. Does that make sense? So, yeah, that would be my suggestion. Okay, that is it for today. Now, speaking of apologizing and all of that, I want to talk about how to deal with out of control strangers. So, let's say, for example, you're having to deal with somebody that's a stranger, that's not a family member, that is a narcissist. How do you deal with that? What can you do? So we're going to talk about dealing with strangers that are clearly disordered. How do you do that? How do you cope? What do you coworkers, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. People that are not family. So that's what we're going to be talking about. All right, guys, you guys be really, really good to yourselves. Drink plenty of water. If you have questions, you can ask them in the comments below, or you can get on to my website, chrisgodinez.com. You can shoot me an email. You can also DM me on Facebook, Chris Godinez, or We Need to Talk with Chris Godinez on Facebook. So there is all of that. Thanks, you guys, so much. You guys take good care of yourselves. Please help the people of Maui. They need all the help that they can get. Also, if anybody knows of a cat rescue, please, please, please have them get a hold of me, because there are now 2 adult cats and 5 kittens, and I've got to do something. So anyway, there is that. All right. Love you guys. Take good care of yourselves, and I'll talk to you next week. Well, I'll talk to you on Wednesday. So, all right. Talk to you later. Bye.